Hey y'all, Bay here bringing you Captain Tsubasa Dream Team, and today I would like to go over the new Wakashimazu, Dreamfest Wakashimazu. As always, looking at the Excel. So before I go on to the Excel, I think this time's Wakashimazu, it's a bit tricky. It's hard to calculate from just looking at the figures, right? Because he's a punch dedicated goalkeeper for sure. His punching stats, oh sorry, it's Japanese, but punching stats is 9,362. Catch is 8,100, so it's more edgy on punch. But his physical technique is really high. It's as high as Wakabayashi actually. So technique and power goes to catch, right? And speed and power goes to punch. So it's a bit hard to calculate which one is he really actually good at. But to make everything straight and so that everything is easier to understand, I made an Excel. So let's look at that one. But before I do, I wanted to check something on Wakabayashi. So yeah, no, his technique is even better than Wakabayashi. His overall stats, total, saving plus physical, is way better than Wakabayashi. It's exceeding 40k, I think. So yeah, that's probably why he can do both. Yeah, and that sounds like Wakashimazu is better than Wakabayashi, but they're like the same. I'll show you that later. And another thing I wanted to check was the stamina consumption of Wakashimazu. So this is 230, and the new one is 240, right? So that's only 10 difference. But the power of the skill is like 45 different. So this new skill is super OP. This is super OP. So let's check out the Excel. I'll show you what I mean by that. So on the left is Fest Wakabayashi. I'm comparing this Fest Shimazu with Fest Wakabayashi because they're like the same. So as I said, looking at the in-game database, Wakashimazu's stats overall is better than Wakabayashi. But when you do the math and add the physical and everything, they'll be very similar. The reason is simply because Wakashimazu is always better at around physical, right? So he's exceeding Wakabayashi by like 2,700. That's big, right? But then Wakabayashi is exceeding Wakashimazu by 1,000 for saving stats. And saving stats, when you do the math, you just use the actual figure. Whereas physical, you do like division and stuff. You have to divide, right? So that's why you can't just look at this 22k like that. You have to change the figures and then put it on top of the saving stats. That's why overall stats looks way better for Wakashimazu, but actually they're like the same. So Wakabayashi's punching stats is 12,175 and catching is 12,993. So the difference between these two is like 800. And Wakashimazu on the right, punching stats is 12,996 and catch is 12,102. The difference between the two is like 894, right? So the difference for both of them is like 800 to 900, right? And if you look at them both, what's good at are the same at like 12,900. So for Wakashimazu it's punch, Wakabayashi it's catch. They're both on the same level. Exactly the same. It's like 3 different, right? And for the one that he's not good at, so for Wakabayashi it's punch, Wakashimazu it's catch, it's like the same again. Only like 73 difference, and this time Wakabayashi is better, right? So they're really alike. It's just the difference between Wakabayashi being catch and Wakashimazu being punch. That's the only difference. They're like a twin goalkeeper. It's like the same. Only difference is punch and catch and color of their like the type. That's it. And of course the passive is a bit different, so it's like the other way around to each other. So Wakabayashi was non-Japanese player killer, right? And then this time Wakashimazu is Asia killer. Sorry, the English is messed up. It says non-Japanese killer, but it's Asia killer. Asia killer means it includes Japanese, of course. Japanese are Asians, so that means it's gonna include Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Saudi Arabians. I think that's it. Yeah, these people. So other than these guys, if they shoot to you, to this Wakashimazu, then passive won't be activated. Yeah. So what I found from looking at these two guys' passives is they both include Korean, Chinese, and Saudi Arabian. Sorry, Vulcan. Sorry, show. But these guys both kill you. That's so sad for these Asian characters, but you know, that's the fact. So yeah. Anyways, so after activating the passive, let's look at the figures on the very right per each character. So Wakabayashi, he's dedicated to catch, and his catching stats is about 15k. And Wakashimazu, again, he's like the same, 15k for punch, that is. So, and for catch for Wakashimazu is like 14k, whereas punch for Wakabayashi is like 14 exact. So they're really close to each other, you know, in terms of the stats. Yeah. So what about if you multiply the skill power? What's it gonna be like? So for Wakabayashi, if for those who's been raising perfect SGGK and who's able to give that to Fes Wakabayashi, it's gonna be the strongest. When the passive is activated, his stats will become 76,000, which is colored in yellow on the left bottom. Okay, 76,000. But this time's Wakashimazu's skill is really strong. It's 500. But since PSGGK is 510, there's 10 difference. And this 10 difference is it does make a difference. So Wakashimazu, when his passive is activated, is going to be 74.7k. So the difference between these two is like 1,500, 1,500. Even when the passive is not activated, it's like the same. So yeah, the difference is like 1,500. Yeah, this is not a big deal, I think. So they're like the same, you know, a bit stronger for Wakabayashi, but there are pros and cons. Wakabayashi is stronger, but he has to control his stamina. Whereas Wakashimazu, because it's a punch and it only consumes 240, you can, you know, you don't have to take risks like using B punch or A punch for like not super OP shot. But when you do that, right, sometimes they make a goal off you. So, but for Wakashimazu, you don't have to take that risk. You could just always do the best punch you have, and you won't have to fear with these kind of shots. So there's pros and cons. Yeah, and so that's the thing. So it's like this. If you max out this new Wakashimazu's skill to level 99, it's like in between jumping SGGK and perfect SGGK. It's just in between. So jumping SGGK at level 99 is 73,000. And this Wakashimazu is 74,000 to 5,000. And then PSGGK like 76,000. So it's like right in the middle of these SGGK catches. So this guy is just the same level as Fes Wakabayashi. So definitely this guy is the number one, first tier, top tier goalkeeper up to date, together with Wakabayashi. And what I also calculated beneath the new skill is when you bring 2017's Wakadoryu defensive chop to this Wakashimazu, what would the stats be? And then below that is when you bring solid block, the catching skill, to this Wakashimazu, what would the figure be? And then at the bottom, it's the new triangle jump, was it? S that this Wakashimazu, the new Dreamfest Wakashimazu has as a sub skill. So when you do the math for each skill, what would the figure be? What would the difference between the skills be? Is indicated. So I think there's many people who's raised defensive chop to level 99, right? More than I think solid block, I think. Because that Wakashimazu, 2018 Wakashimazu wasn't as good. So I don't think that many people raised this Wakashimazu compared to 2017, because 2017 Wakashimazu was the best goalkeeper at that time. So yeah. And if you bring defensive chop, it's gonna be 68,000 when the passive is activated. So comparing to the new chop or punch skill, the difference would be like 6 to 7,000. So this difference is pretty damn big. So what I would recommend you to do is, if it's okay for those who doesn't care about losing that 2017 Wakashimazu, then if I were you, I would give that defensive chop that you raised already to this Wakashimazu, because it's both agility, and then wait until this new skill is raised to a certain level where the stats will be the same as 99 chop, and then shift to the new skill. But until then, I don't think many of you have enough black balls to be able to raise the new skill up to level 99 or somewhere close right away. If I were you, for those people, you should, what I think you should do is give that 2017 chop to this one, and then use that chop until you're ready with the new skill. Yeah. And I think the same thing could be said for those who's raised solid block for 2018 Wakashimazu. You should bring that skill to this Wakashimazu. If that person doesn't care about losing 2018 limited time Wakashimazu, that is, of course, because if you give the skill, that Wakashimazu will be gone, right? So if that's okay, yeah, it's the same story, because if you look at the stats, although this Wakashimazu is dedicated to punch, actually, when you give solid block to this Wakashimazu, the stat is better than giving chop, the defensive chop, to this Wakashimazu. The reason is because the skill power difference. The defensive chop is only 455. Solid block is 490. The difference between these two is 35. 35 difference is big. That's why at the end, this solid block actually exceeds Wakadoryu defensive chop. Yeah, because of the skill power. So I think that's what you should do, even for those who's been raising solid block. And then when the time comes, shift to the new punching skill. So even for those who will be bringing solid block to this new Wakashimazu, I would not limit break him as a catching goalkeeper, because that is a waste, I think you should make him a 100% punching goalkeeper, because at the end, you'll be using the 500 new punching skill, right? And that's when he becomes OP goalkeeper, who will be exceeding 74k, right? So yeah, if I were you, I would limit break him as a 100% punching character, and until you're ready to use that new skill, just keep using solid block or the defensive chop, because that probably will be the strongest skill for now. Yeah. So that's my advice, and that's how I look at this character. His OP character for sure. This guy is really strong, I think. So the only character that will really kill him would be probably Fest Santana, Fest Hino. These two will probably kill him for sure, because they have a type advantage, plus they're not Asian. And even characters like maybe like Roberto, maybe, and who else? I can't think of one right now, but there must be some more. And yeah, so the key is it has to be either green or blue and not non-Asian in order for you to score off this guy. And from today or maybe tomorrow, from Friday, there's going to be time attack Hyuga, right? And I don't know how this Hyuga will be exactly, but this guy's green, and as we can see in the notification, in the in-game notification, his shot, skill shot is really strong. It's 500, right? So, and it doesn't lose momentum shooting from distance. So this Hyuga might kill both of these characters, Wakabayashi and Wakashimazu, because he's simply better. I mean, he has advantage against Wakashimazu in terms of type, right? Although he's Asian. So Wakashimazu against this Hyuga will be able to activate his passive, but he has disadvantage for type. But still, you know, so that's why I think Hyuga will probably be able to score off him. And when that Hyuga goes up against Wakabayashi, he has no disadvantage or advantage in terms of type, but he's Japanese. So Wakabayashi can't activate his passive. So again, I think this Hyuga will kill. So maybe this Hyuga is gonna be a big key to defeat both of these goalkeepers. Yeah. So I think right now, I'm sure there's gonna be toughness goalkeeper that's gonna be OP at this level soon. But until then, I think up to today, skill type team is the strongest because they have simply advantage against agility, and Hyuga is coming as skill. And this Hyuga, like I said, can kill probably both these goalkeepers. So yeah, that's how I think. So anyways, I hope you liked the video. I hope everything is clear with this Excel. And yeah, so you know for sure this guy is OP. This guy is a top tier goalkeeper. That is for sure. Yeah, I personally think maybe this Wakashimazu is even better than Wakabayashi because he doesn't have to like control the stamina. You know, you could just keep on using his best skill all the way. Well, if you give solid block, it's a different story. But if you're going with punch, yeah, you don't have to really care about stamina consumption. So it's maybe even better than Wakabayashi. You know, people can't like shoot from distance. You know, many times to decrease your stamina. It doesn't matter to Wakashimazu, right? But Wakabayashi, you have to control your stamina, by using like A rank skills sometimes, but that will come with risk. So yeah. So that's about it for today. Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe for those who haven't yet and stay tuned. Thanks for watching and bye.